Hello guys and welcome back. Welcome back to today's video, and today we have another guide of one of my favorite strategy games, the XCOM Enemy Within. This is of course the expansion of the classic now game, the XCOM Enemy Unknown. And some months back I have made a very nice guide, and I'm quite proud of it, on how you can build a very pro base on the crucial first months of the game. And actually you can see that guide or down in the description below. I will put the link, or if you click around here on the annotation, you can go directly to the video. So today what I want to show you though is the difference between the expansions, the expansion and the basic version of the game, all the new buildings, and how your end game base should look like. So since the video that I did was on the third month, on how which is the third month, it's actually the first very critical month. So your base should be stabilized, your country should be stabilized, and the threats should be stabilized also from the aliens. So that video was very important, but this one is how your end game base should look like. Also, I want to show you the new buildings and explain a bit what they do and how you should build them and where you should build them. So as you can see, as you know, of course, we have all buildings are here. First things first. So if you remember, just in case you haven't seen my first video, although I would recommend you go check that out, it's very good. I've talked about how important it is to build your satellite uplinks and your generators to keep the production of the satellites going. And actually your satellites is your bread and butter of this game. If you don't have satellites, you don't have coverage, you don't have income, and you will lose countries, and it's actually it's a chain reaction from there. So just to remind you, the first money that you get in the game, throw them in the satellites and start getting quests and missions that give you engineers, because you will need them. You will need engineers in order to build your first satellite uplink. After you manage to build as soon as possible your first satellite uplink, that needs, I think, 14 days, then start production of your first power generator, because it just needs 8 days. So by the time that you will finish your uplink, your generator will be completed. So besides the fact that all that stuff I've covered it in my first video, for right now let me explain how the situation should be in your base, more or less. So here are my satellite uplinks, and as you can see, your primary concern is to build your satellite uplinks close to each other, so you can gain the extra bonuses from the vicinity bonus. It's very, very important. You gain extra satellite coverage with less buildings, so it's very crucial. And also by doing that, you will not need to build the ultra high satellite building. I don't remember how it is. Satellite Nexus. Most probably you won't need that. If you can, you can build it for the lols, but if you build your base like that, it will not be necessary at all. So in the same way that you build your satellite uplinks, the same way you want to build your power generators. You want them to be close to each other, so you can achieve maximum power generation with less buildings. Now, if you can, of course, that doesn't depend on you, but you could if you wanted, replay the game and reset the game continually until you spawn the thermal locations in places where it's best for you. Now I was lucky enough, I don't usually do that. For now I had the luck to spawn one thermal point here and one other thermal point here. So I just needed three normal generators, and two thermal generators, and the generation is just okay. And then you build just for the lols an Elerium generator, and you are covered forever actually. As you can see right here, I have 94 to 137, so it's more than enough actually. This one could be a normal generator or something. So, having said that, having covered the two most important buildings in your base, your third most important buildings in your base are the workshops and your laboratories. Now, depends totally on you. If you are that kind of person that wants to research things faster, complete interrogations, autopsies, and new researches faster, then you need your laboratories. If you want to be able to build more stuff with less cost, etc., you will need your engineers, of course. I think that they are crucially the same. They have the same value, although for me the engineers have high priority just because they allow you to build your satellite uplinks, and the satellite uplinks are crucial for your satellite coverage. So I tend to generally build my two workshops close together around the third month. So I will have easier time building new stuff and new satellite uplinks. And also you want to build, since your foundry is one of the end game buildings that you will need to research stuff like improved flight, armor conservation, etc. You can actually delay it and build on the fourth row like I did. Although just remember to leave a space open in order to place the foundry close to your workshops, because they are familiar, they are the same building, so they take the bonuses from each other. So keep in mind that the workshops are very important and the engineers are very important. The foundry also works with the workshop, so it takes the bonus, gets the bonus. Remember to build them close to each other. Now, the difference though is that the laboratories, as you can see over here, don't get the bonuses from the new buildings. So what that means? It means that in the expansion you have the genetics lab, as you can see over here, which allows you to get the genetic modifications on your soldiers, improved eyesight, etc., regeneration. Cybernetics lab, that you can use that in order to mechanize your soldiers, build them into super robots. And of course you have psionic labs that existed from the normal game. So these two buildings don't actually take the same bonuses with the laboratories, which means that although I really hope I'm mistaken, maybe the genetics labs collaborate with the laboratories, but I'm not sure. So you can test that out, but generally what you can, since the officer training school, alien containment, and Gallop chamber, and these two buildings with psionic labs don't work with each other, you don't actually should care very much where you should build them. Find a place for them where it doesn't actually impede your basic construction. You don't want any building to interfere with the construction of your satellites and your power generators. These are your two main buildings, and your more vital room in the base should be left for these two buildings. Even if one of these two buildings works with the laboratories to get the bonuses, for me it doesn't worth to sacrifice the extra power generated or the extra satellites generated, satellite room generated from these buildings in order to get some, to get a bit more, in order to get more, to get faster researches from the laboratories. So even if your base is totally fucked up and you don't have, for various reasons, you didn't manage to get very nice placement in your base, if you have to sacrifice alignment of some buildings, just sacrifice the laboratories and try to save the workshops, and absolutely try to save the satellites and the power generation. Even if you remember one very basic thing, guys, the enemies that you will face in the game get upgraded as you progress through research. What that means is that you will not find ultra difficult enemies if you don't have researched the more advanced weapons. The weapons actually are, from my understanding, what I figured until now, the weapons are what make the game difficulty progress through the enemies. When the first step is your beam weapons, actually, it's the laser guns, let's say. The second is, of course, is the plasma weapons, where you get to meet the improved soldiers with improved life, damage, etc. So you can delay actually the research if you have. Start with your autopsies and delay the weapon research. That's what I always do. I always do the researches, the autopsies, and the interrogations. Then I go to armor, and lastly I do the weapons. Because for me, since I play with only one squad, in a sense that if two or three of my people are injured, and I have to go to a mission without them, instead of taking rookies with me, I go with only two people and try to finish it the hard way. So survivability for me is the utmost importance. I prefer to be able to take more damage, but do less, than to have a shit tons of damage but get one-shotted of my soldiers. And that's why I often run my team with two supports. So, having said that, I think that I have covered the most important things that you should keep in mind for the expansion. Let me recap. Firstly, go check out the first guide that I did about the first crucial steps on how to build your base. I will put the link down in the description below. You go check that out. It will help you out very much if you just now start the game. And if you want to have a look on how your end game base should look like, this is it, guys. So keep in mind, you need your satellite uplinks all together for maximum efficiency. You need your power generators close together for maximum efficiency. Genetics lab, Genetics lab, Cybernetics lab, Psionics lab, Gallop chamber, Alien containment, officer training school, not important. Place them where you like, place them how you want in your base, not important. Second most important thing is find a place to build your workshops. You need at least two workshops. Is a very fine number. Is a very balanced number of workshops to have. With third, building with your foundry. I think that more than that, it's just overkill. But of course, you can change that out. You can experiment as you wish. Laboratories, yeah, important, not so much. Speeds up the researches and they will become instant at one point. Your autopsies and your interrogations will become instant too. Your most heavy, if you tend to capture a lot of aliens, it will help you a lot. It will speed up your researches from the tips that you will take. So the bonus from the interrogations together with some laboratories here will make most of your actually researches very, very small time, like say maximum 5 days, let's say. And most of them will become instant anyway. If I remember correctly, since I researched the plasma weapons pretty later in the game, it was 5 or 4 days, something like that. So that's actually the entire base, the most important thing that you should do. I will make another video for the soldiers, just to give you a general idea again. One of the most important things that you will need. Yeah, as you can see over here, at the end game you will have more than enough. I have 122 engineers and 99 scientists. I have no new research to do, and it's pretty much done. So since we have new modifications for the soldiers, I will make another video, explain that out, show you another guide of what you should keep in mind, what should you have in mind. Yeah, like I said. So thank you very much, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this little guide. Remember to check out my other video if you're just starting now with XCOM. It will help you out a lot. If you liked this video and if you found it useful and or entertaining, throw me a like. I will appreciate very much. And thank you very much, guys. And I will see you next time. Goodbye, guys.